Hey guys, today we're talking about the ReCover Tactical PIX brace.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for...
So included in the box is the brace, a grip, a stock and a buffer tube, and a mag holder, as well as 2 rail attachments for the front of the brace. While I'm here, I'm going to start off by showing you that there's actually no firearm currently inside of this, and we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so now that we've established there's no firearm inside of it, I'll establish why I not only showed you that, but I'm going to state that I have literally zero intention of putting my Glock into this, nor do I even have it in my house at this exact moment in time, because I don't intend to create an illegal SBR. If you put your Glock into this kit as is, you actually commit a felony by putting a stock on your pistol. So now that we've verified the gun is not inside of it, let's get into some of the other issues. The stock that they give you is actually really good. It's nice and comfortable. It's just you can't use it unless you want to file paperwork for an SBR. So I naturally bought it with the buffer tube so I wouldn't have to buy another one, and ordered an SBA4 online so I could put it on, which would have been fine and dandy, except for they send you an airsoft buffer tube. Not kidding. It's an airsoft buffer tube. So you pay extra to have an airsoft tube on the rear end. And what that means is that an SBA4 actually won't fit. You have to jam it on if you would like it to, and then it's not obviously adjustable at all. And removing the SBA4 becomes next to impossible, and that is not going to work. You can tell when I put this tube next to my AR buffer tube that I have on my AR that it is clearly misshapen. It's a little bit more rounded down at the bottom, which is traditional of, you know, cheap airsoft buffer tubes because airsoft stocks aren't mil-spec. For a quick comparison, this is my AR. As you can tell, the chamber's open and it's clear. SBA3 slides on and off very, very easily. This is the SBA4 that I purchased specifically for the PIX. As you can tell, it slides on, adjusts, stays very easily. My SBA3 actually won't even pretend to start on the ReCover brace because the SBA4 has a slightly larger opening on it and then it goes into mil-spec, just to make it easier to put on and off quickly. Unfortunately, on this one, it means that if you wanted to use it, you'd have to only put it on that much, because anything more than that, you saw it doesn't work. Now you guys might be thinking, that's okay, ReCover Tactical is a good company, you reached out to them, they probably took care of you. Actually, I reached out to them and Mike R told me that he suggests I just try it again because he guarantees that it works with an SBA3, where I sent him a video of me attempting to put the SBA3, SBA4 onto this kit, and he responded that we can just agree to disagree because his works, and he sent me a picture of his with an SBA3 on it. What he did there was essentially tell me that he's aware that ReCover Tactical is sending people SBR kits when they send them a buffer tube and a stock, because he runs his with a brace, and then also informed me that he doesn't care that this does not fit with a brace because he didn't offer to send me a replacement. He told me that I need to just jam it on there, and admitted that it was even a tight fit with his. Some other problems with the kits are they pretend to be an AR platform conversion for your Glock, and if that makes you excited, it should, because it would be exciting, except for the only part of this that's actually AR platform conversion is your grip. My understanding is the only thing from an AR that you could take off and put on this would be like a grip. The last thing I want to talk about before I go and shoot this, and maybe I'm surprised and absolutely love it, is the front of the firearm where you would hold with the mag pouch. As you can see, I just ripped off the mag pouch because I think it's completely useless on this. You could use it as a foregrip. I wouldn't, but you could. I wouldn't, but you could. I C-clamp most of my firearms, so I would hold it traditionally like this or like this. Your gun actually sits about this far back in it, so if you're putting your hand here, you are putting your hand in front of your barrel, essentially. I mean, it's technically off to the side, but if you want to play that game, go ahead. I don't want to. So same thing, if you put a light on these rails that I paid extra for, if I put a light on one of these rails and I want to put it right here, it's going to stick out at least this far, even the TLR1 HL that I would be running, and I will put it on it for the firing test, and all the junk from the gun is going to hit the light and put extra wear on it. Okay, I think that's enough said about the kit for now. Let's go and shoot. All right, guys. we are out at the range now with the ReCover Tactical Pix brace, and I'm just going to talk about some of the issues. This is currently just set on the back, so that's not an issue that we're going to discuss. It's non-adjustable, so just bear with the fact that it's long. Shooting this is actually not that bad. The trigger does not feel good at all. It's a very long trigger pull. You can actually see that the firearm is clear. So right now I'm going to drop the mag out. I'll put it in the handy mag holder, and I'm just going to show you how long that trigger pull is. That is how long the trigger pull is. So same thing on the reset here. I'm going to rack the slide and reset trigger. And there's that much mush before it goes off. I'm not sure if you guys are properly seeing that or not, but it is not good. It doesn't feel pleasant. It's nothing like my AR that has a 3.5-pound trigger with no creep. It's pretty rough. This has an agency drop-in trigger in it too, so it's not even a stock Glock trigger. So we're not running a stock Glock trigger today. I'm going to put the empty magazine back in the firearm and show that the chamber is clear while we talk about this. I'm running a TLR1 HL light on the front of this as they are kind of meant to, and it's currently coated in gunpowder residue because the barrel of the firearm actually sits a little bit behind the front of the gun, and this is a full-size Glock 17, so 19 would be recessed even more. And all the models that they say fit that aren't full size will actually recess more into the firearm or into the kit brace. So if you are holding it, you have to be sure that you're holding with your hand back or here, and just be aware that your weapon light is going to be blasted every single time you take a shot. I don't know what that does for the lifespan of the light, but right now it's not looking too hot. So that being said, I don't like the safety selector at all as expected. It's stiff. It's plastic, it's cheap, and it doesn't feel good. It's nice that it has a safety, but I would have rather they honestly left it off at this point if it's going to feel this horrible. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but it's not one smooth motion ever. It's 2 clicks. It's click, click. It's kind of weird. It gets to this one point, and then there's a little ridge, and it clicks in place. It gets to this one point, there's a little ridge, and it finally clicks in place. It's not smooth. It's not easy. It's not fun to actuate. Overall, I would much rather not run a brace at all than run this brace. Reloading the gun is super tricky. After firing a bunch of shots, you have to use the one hand to come back and release the magazine. You kind of have to do one of these motions. You have to grab here and either free drop the magazine or obviously grab the magazine out. It's not pleasant, it's not easy, it doesn't go to this side, so you do have to use your offhand. If you're shooting left-handed, good for you, then I guess you can use your hand that you're gripping the gun with. That being said, if you're right-handed and you want to grip the gun this way, you actually can't, or at least not very easily, because when you fire, and I had this happen many times, when you fire the gun, you'll tend to squeeze it to, hold the gun in place. And when you squeeze this, it presses this mag release in and drops the magazine. So you have to be really conscious of that, which is funny because they put a thumb rest here. So if you put your thumb here, you actually are squeezing right here with the pad of your hand. I don't know. I'm going to let my cameraman John here shoot it and kind of get his thoughts too. I think he's going to say the same thing I am. I just don't think it's good. So yeah, John, what do you think? Are you excited to shoot this?
No.
Yeah, he's not excited to shoot this. So
not after seeing what you've done.
it's just not good. I don't think I'd ever put a Glock in this kit, and I'll never use this. Like, this is gonna sit on a shelf. Maybe I'll give it to someone who plays airsoft. It's just not something that is safe to use, nor is it fun or feel good. It's just like, it's like you want to have an AR, but also you can't. And then also if your Glock is modified in any way, it doesn't really work very well. We actually had to switch the upper on this one because he had optic sight heights because he was running an RMR, and the little adapter thing doesn't work with optic sight heights. So we had to put my other upper on. All of my issues are just with the ergonomics of this design and how poorly it fits all together in working fashion. It just is horrible. It's like whoever put this together has never really fired firearms at all before, because if you want to use this for any sort of tactical, reload situation, you're going to want to drop the magazine with one hand while you reach and grab the other magazine with your offhand, except for you can't do that in this situation. So you have to drop the magazine and then go and grab and get your other one. That is it. I don't like this. So I think I've said enough that I don't like this design. I think it's garbage. The customer service, when I voiced my concerns, was also garbage. And so I just kind of wanted to show you guys why you shouldn't buy this, I guess, which sucks because I was super excited about this. I pre-ordered it. I waited 3 months for this thing to come in. I was so stoked about this like brace that would help turn my Glock into an AR, and all it does is make this feel like an absolute cheap piece of garbage. And it's just not ergonomically sound. You are much better off. You're going to be more efficient with just your pistol because even just down to reloading, right? You have to use one hand to reload. You can't use your magazine release with one hand and reload with the other. You have to press the magazine release with one hand and then go and grab your second magazine. So even if you become proficient with this and effective with it, you're still going to be slower than pretty much anyone else with an actual AR platform that takes Glock mags or is 9mm. There's a whole bunch of other PCCs out here, so I guess if you have a Glock and you want something to throw it into, yes, this is an option. But their 2080 braces, their 2020 braces are actually good, and they also are something you can just throw your Glock into, and they're less expensive. So they actually create the option that is better than this and sell it. So do with that information what you will. I can't recommend this. Here's some more compilations of us shooting it and loving every second of it. Yeah, you feel how horrible that is? Oh, it broke my front sight. It broke my front sight completely off. Do you see that?
Well, that's why. That was the piece you were talking about.
That was the piece that flew out. It flew out because, hold on, because this goes back. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it shakes just enough that your front sight can break. Hold on.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying.